This week on Spooky Coop, episode number 47, Paul and Michelle discuss the enchanted and haunted forest of Hoia-Baciu in Romania. Hi everyone, I'm Paul.
And I'm Michelle.
And you're in
The Spooky Coop.
Welcome to the Spooky Coop. Hope you're not chicken. Hello, Michelle.
Hey, Paul.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Welcome all of our listeners. Thank you very much for joining us.
In the Spooky Coop, where sometimes it seems a bit campy, but it's always a lot of fun.
Yes, we try to have fun.
That's what it's about. It's spooky, fun, and mysterious.
Mysterious, and sometimes just breakdown funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Unusual always.
This week, we have a really wonderful story about the enchanted forest of Hoia-Baciu in Romania. So, was there anything you wanted to preamble before we start?
Oh, it's not just mysterious. It's spooky, dangerous, and really, really far out.
Really far out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like us.
You know, there's a lot of stuff on the internet you can find about it, but some of it is, I don't know if, well, you'll hear. We did a lot of research to find, I guess, what you could call the truth.
The truth. Is there such a thing?
I don't know.
Anyway, there is a forest on the outskirts of Cluj-Napoca. Say that 3 times fast.
Cluj-Napoca, Cluj-Napoca, Cluj-Napoca.
Romania.
And by the way, we're doing our best with the pronunciations.
Yeah. To the people of Cluj-Napoca, we apologize if we've mispronounced your name.
It's in Romania, but you would think it's in Hawaii.
Yes. And
There's supposed to be very old spirits there, like Transylvanian type spirits.
many people, they go in curious to find the ancient spirits that are said to dwell there. And sometimes they don't leave the same if they leave at all.
Yeah, the forest itself is named Hoia-Baciu, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's called Hoia-Baciu, a place where extreme beauty, ancient legends, stories of ghosts, UFOs, and other paranormal things reside beneath twisted branches. Tonight we walk its paths, explore some of these stories, and delve into the mystery that is Hoia-Baciu. Are you setting the scene with spooky music?
That's what I mean, campy.
You didn't bring the leaf litter to throw on the ground and walk through it. Okay, close enough. Okay, as with many mystical places, Hoia-Baciu is a triangular area of about 729 square acres. At first glance, its ordinary beeches, oaks, and fir trees describe a typical forest. But when you walk deeper and you notice things that people mention again and again, the gnarled pines, the patches of grass where there's little to nothing that grows, usually in circles, the sense that time and direction is warped comes upon you. A strong feeling of being watched. Many have found themselves fighting a feeling of strong uneasiness. Some even feel panic. Locals have long called it haunted. On maps and in tourist guides, it's marked with a caution warning. What is the caution? Don't
the caution
go
is
here.
Be careful if you go in there, and always bring a map, extra food, things like that, extra water.
I've been so conditioned by COVID, I thought you were going to say, always bring a mask. Anyway.
You know what's interesting? When I was looking at this, pine trees, beech trees, fir trees, this is in Romania. We're in New England. We have the same type of forest.
Yes.
I don't know if that's something that people are like, well, duh, but to me, I found that interesting.
Yeah, that there is similar vegetation that rings the earth equatorially, yeah. Oh, where were we here? Okay, the forest name actually means family shepherd. Some assume that means it was a farm once owned by an animal keeper. Folklore points to a more sinister meeting.
Yeah, nobody would say what that sinister meeting was, but they kept saying, "That's a sinister meeting." Anyway, some. I think my mic is too loud. If I'm very loud, people, I'm sorry. It is my natural state of being.
When you're born in Lowell, Massachusetts, your volume comes in at a 12.
Yeah, and that's normal.
Just like Marshall amps. Go ahead.
Yeah. Some of the most common stories you'll find are about people who enter the haunted forest, and they include things like people who suddenly enter and feel these oppressed feelings or dizziness and suddenly feel nauseous. But usually that happens only in certain areas. Like you can go into one area and think, oh my God, this is beautiful, bucolic, I love it. And then all of a sudden walk a few steps and feel, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to be sick. And then go backwards and feel fine. People become disoriented. They feel like their head is spinning, and they then turn around and they don't know where they are. People's compasses spin like that too. It doesn't point north, can point in the wrong direction, or literally start spinning. And usually when they do, if they keep walking, or even if they stop, all of a sudden time will go by, like they have missing time. And sometimes they can find themselves in completely different spaces. Like if they're on a certain path, they'll find themselves on a certain other path.
Right.
They'll, if it was 3 o'clock, all of a sudden it's 6 o'clock. Often, even without the compasses, strange things will happen to people who are walking or hiking. They'll be walking down one trail and find themselves hiking down another. If you can hear the hounds from hell upstairs howling, that you can say hi to River in Austin.
Yeah,
those are our labs.
We've imported them from the forest. They're the backgrounds.
They took the wrong turn on one path and ended up in our living room. Unfortunately, we don't own a soundproof room.
I don't know. Studio B's not too bad. Yeah. B stands for basement.
Yeah, B for basement. Photographers come back with images of orbs. Orbs are a standard sort of thing you see, but they also come back with lights behind trees that go up and down, and a lot of people feel that they're maybe unexplainable actual craft or solid objects that they feel have landed between the trees. Children have told their families, oh, look over there, look at that strange being, sometimes very small beings, sometimes tall beings, or sometimes almost shadow beings, usually coming out behind the trees and running behind other trees, but the adults see absolutely nothing. And some of the most chilling stories, though they're not frequent, are of people who go into the forest and think they've been in there just for an hour or two, but don't come out for a day, 2 days, a week, sometimes months. And they come out looking fresh, like they were only in there for an hour. And they're not hungry, they're not dirty. And there are tales, though they are from long ago, about people going in there and never coming back, never having a body found, never having remains, not a stitch of clothing, nothing.
Right. These are not isolated to one generation. Visitors, journalists, paranormal researchers, and even scientists have collected anecdotes over decades, making Hoia-Baciu a focal point. Of course, the scientists with no plausible explanation put it down to mania that mysteriously happens only in that forest, though many forests throughout the world have the same conditions.
Yeah, that's true.
They say a thicket of trees that looks ordinary by daylight, with narrow dirt paths and dappled sun, changes the moment you step beneath its branches, and the world feels slightly different. The air grows cooler, the sound seems to congeal, as if the forest collects echoes like a child collects stones. I guess scientists have never walked through any other forest.
No.
And yeah.
No. So, well, there's one thing about it is the bent trees. They were bent, they think, because of high winds or whatever. Science has reasons for it, but
There are some lovely photographs available online if you go and Google this place. There's photographers have taken some amazing pictures.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not the only forest with bent trees. I mean, there's a place called Sheldrick Forest around here. Has some ancient trees with weird bends around major rocks and the same type of things. And people don't think that
Exists elsewhere, but yet still very beautiful no matter where they're taken, and that's what makes part of the magic of this place.
Right.
The unusual bends and
But
twists of the
as far
trees.
as scientists are concerned, it's like, what? Have they never seen another forest?
There are more. There are more than this forest in the area, but still locals call this one the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. Tourists come seeking spine-tingling tales. Skeptics come looking for trick lines, and speakers making the whispers they hear in the fog, which they never find. In some of the oldest stories from the village, it speaks of a shepherd named Baciu, a man who lost his flock on a night so foggy thick that the stars vanished.
Ooh.
He hurried into the woods, calling his sheep, and never returned. Some versions say he simply wandered until the trees swallowed him. He got to the root of the problem. Others insist the forest spat him back out, and many days later, frantic and hollow-eyed, unable to say how much time had passed. It was the kind of story that sits on the edge of the start of a ledge.
Anyway, it was the start of how this explanation came to be. But you know what? There are people who say that this happened and had already been happening before that. And this was just the way they explained the legend as far back as they remember. After all, stories go back, suddenly are overwhelming, and somebody has to make sense of it. People have been talking about this woods, giving them headaches, nausea, skin rashes, unusual patterns of missing time, sightings of tiny people, of ghostly figures, and even of objects in the sky, spaceships, or what we might call that, some kind of unidentified thing. Many photographers have returned with pictures showing strange things in the sky, lights suspended among the trunks of trees, and not just still photography. Those who have videos of these things visit, and in the gaps where the videos are, they see these things, whole periods of time of these things moving. And some of the people who have gone missing for times, like some people who believe that they were filming a solid 20 minutes. They say, oh, I was filming this orb or this thing in the sky or this creature moving in the woods for a full 20 minutes. When they go and they look at their digital camera later, or their film if it was a while back, what they'll see is like a minute and a half of them filming and then nothing.
Yes, I was going to say conversely to that.
Yeah.
There's reports of videographers or people with video cameras who have gaps in the video where whole periods of time have vanished and were never recorded.
Right, it never records. And then maybe there'll be another 10 seconds or another minute or so where there's nothing there. So it's like the camera actually has nothing after that. And once in a while it may have a tiny bit after, like the camera had been almost on and then off. It's really funny. It's really amazing. And what's more amazing is that it didn't happen to one person. It happens to many people.
Right. Tell them about the drivers.
Oh, about these, you mean about the drivers that go around?
Yeah, people who drive their cars around the forest. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When people have reported, and not one, not two, not three, many people have reported. There's a road that goes around this area. You know how if there's protected land, there's always roads around it, not through it. When people drive around it, they have reported that radios, people who have, remember this is Romania, and even in the past when people had CDs, radios, whatever.
Digital watches.
Well, the radios and stuff, they pick up, they go to static, they skip. People with digital watches and people who are using digital cameras trying to photograph it from the outside, people who have CDs or cell phones, or people listening to their cell phone through their through their car, or even with headphones on.
Right.
Those start skipping, or they jump to or they just don't work. Digital phones, digital watches, digital readouts of time on their cars and stuff.
Right.
They all change. They mess up. Anything electronic. The cars themselves, oddly enough, even with electronics in the car, they still move. But anything electronic that's not as powerful as the cars, I guess, as the car's running itself, like timepieces, radios, their iPhones, they mess up.
Right. There are also accounts of people pulling over into a grove along the road.
Yeah, this was one account, I think. I only found one, but I'm sure there's probably more.
For what they believe was just a minute to get something from the trunk or make a call, and suddenly realize it was many hours later, and friends and family, maybe even the police, have been looking for them for hours. They swear they were in the grove by the road all the time, but others insist they were not. Not even their car. This very much sounds like a UFO abduction.
Yeah, we've heard things like this many times, and it happened to both of us.
Right. And it's not surprising, the area around the Hoia-Baciu forest is a spot for UFO sightings. In fact, the forest itself is known for its UFO activity. Ufologists studying the forest are of the opinion that much of the missing time events when people are on the trails can be attributed to the abduction phenomena. In addition to the UFO abduction events, there is an area of the forest where the trees grow as if they were bent to be chairs for an unseen giant. Other areas where the roots of the trees could be homes for villages of elves. Oh, that's pretty cool.
For little people. You should, yeah, it's really cool. If you guys ever have a chance, take a minute and look on the internet. Some of these trees have these huge roots, and the roots come together in such a way that they're almost triangular with all these little holes in them that make little caves.
Right. Other areas where the roots of the trees could be homes for villages of elves, but most of the trees look like creatures frozen in an evil dance, waiting for night to fall so the music can start again and the dance can continue. It's very eerie.
It really is.
And not too far from some eyewitnesses' truth. There are some who swore, with the kind of conviction that shames casual doubt, that they had seen figures, tall, impossible silhouettes in the trees in the distance, slipping between the beeches. Beeches is a tree type.
Beech is the tree. Yeah.
Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Hoia-Baciu like moths to a flame. Did I say Hoia-Baciu right? I think I did.
I don't know.
Ghost hunters with infrared cameras and EVPs and all the other goodies comb the paths at night.
Oh, yeah, those are good goodies.
Yeah. Interestingly, both paranormal teams and scientists have recorded EM abnormalities, electromagnetic abnormalities.
Yeah, that's true.
UFO researchers have reported typical wide circular areas that have been documented in the past where ships have landed. Likewise, botanists point to the same circular clearings where grass refuses to grow and have no explanation because they can find nothing wrong with the soil.
And that's really interesting. There are several of them there. You usually see the picture of the biggest one if you go online, but there are several there. One of them is actually in the shape of a five-sided figure. Most of them are round.
A pentagram.
A pentagram, yeah. But it's really interesting. It doesn't look like a pentagram that
or a pentagon.
It actually kind of looks more like a pentagon the way it's made. I don't know. There's a kind of a difference. I'm not sure what that difference is, but your brain sees a difference when you see it. But There are several of them, and they do look like an area where something would have landed, and it is interesting. Some of them, just the slightest bit of grass grows, but no plants, no trees, nothing. And it's not like people cut down the trees. It's not like somebody spilled something there. It's totally natural. It's not a natural, field. And it's really interesting that botanists have gone there to study it and couldn't find anything wrong with it. Today, you can actually book a walking trail, and they have paths there. They'll guide you through them, and at least in part of it. I mean, 729 acres is pretty big, and also they kind of bring you to the parts that they think are the parts people want to see. They most of them are day trails because that's when most of the tourists are around. They do have certain night ones you can take. It's fascinating. You'll see the trees that are standing that look like they're chairs. You'll see the ones that are standing in a row. There are some that are standing in the row that look like they have faces in them, and they're literally standing in a row. They look like they're in judgment on you. If you walk by, they look like a congregation of like judges or something. It's really kind of like gets you. Others have trunks that are kind of twisted around each other, mosses that are clinging to the roots, but they're velvet soft. It's almost like not moss, but like a velvet cloth. Paths that open into small glades where sunlight is so bright. After being in the fog of where you were, the sunlight hits your eyes so bright you have to squint for a while to let your eyes just get used to it. And it that's kind of like makes people shiver. It's just like such a change. The sounds are not quite what you're used to. And you'll go into spots where some people all of a sudden can feel sick and then step back and feel fine. And there are parts where it's so beautiful and you're thinking you're in the most beautiful forest, and then all of a sudden you'll see foliage that's clumped in such a way that over the years it's sort of clumped and grown into actual geometric shapes like triangles and trapezoids and things that
really
it's really, really wild. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's the weird trunks, like we said, that look like chairs. But there's tons of them. It's not just one. And then you can go down. Now, these paths I saw a video of. I'd love to go there. You walk down these paths. The guides will take you down these paths. And the paths turn in such a way that as soon as you make that turn, it looks like you just went down, you just appeared in a path, and behind you is a solid wall of bark. Mm. It's like you just walked through a wall of bark.
That's strange.
It really is strange. And it would be really cool if you were coming the other way and you look at this wall of bark and you don't think you're going anywhere. If anyone's seen the movie Labyrinth, it's kind of like that when the little worm guy told her to go one way instead of the other. And
so I gather this is not every time, but every once in a while people will have an experience like this.
No. This is every time. This is part of the tour, apparently. And but anyway, could you imagine? This is part of the tour. And I was told in several different sources that they actually don't bring people on the tour to the best places, because the best, most intense places are, even though nothing in this place is off limits, okay, the place is open to the public, they try, because of the locals, and the locals really want to protect this place. And you know how it is, some tourists really don't take care of places they've been to.
So is it to protect them, or because they feel it's the most dangerous, or something?
Well, they feel it's the most sacred, the most uncomfortable, also the part they want to protect the most, they tend to discourage people from going in those areas, even though it's completely open.
Right.
And so the tours tend to keep people. They discourage the actual tours you pay for.
Right.
Don't go into those areas.
Gotcha.
And if, like you or I, decided to take somebody for a tour, they may ask us politely to try to avoid those areas. You know what I mean? Out of respect for they would say, for the natural beauty and yada yada. You know, so when you watch these things on TV, you know, we went hunting and this is what we saw. And they show these weird things. Can you imagine what the rest of it must look like? You know, and so it's pretty cool. It is really cool, and oh, excuse me. Really doesn't matter what part of the forest you're in. You could go in on a day when it's not that active, like when the spirits or whatever, the mist, whatever, is not that active, and people will swear that they hear no birds at all. No birds. And they will see a bird. There are birds there. They'll see birds flying from tree to tree, but they won't hear any birds. But there are days when there's such an imposing, intense feeling around them. And they'll see birds. They won't hear them, but they'll see birds, and they'll see birds flying from tree to tree, but never making it, just flying and disappearing.
Right.
And that's a common sight. Hundreds of people have said they saw that. And so that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know? Anyway, if you talk to the locals, I know I'm blabbing a lot, but I have so much to say, okay? They say if you talk to the locals, especially the older women, right? They will tell you, half of them will say the place is a beautiful place, full of charm, and if you go there, you'll experience beautiful charm and it will touch your heart. And the other half say, if you go there, you're only opening yourself up to nightmares, and it will create nightmare and fear in your heart.
Okay, now I've got two real stories, and you can decide for yourselves whether you think they're charming or a nightmare.
Ooh.
Not long ago, a woman in her early 20s and a man in his mid-20s both entered the woods around noon. They were both feeling bad that they had no romantic partners and thought they needed a walk to clear their head on a sunny afternoon.
They didn't know each other or anything?
There wasn't a lot in the story here. I gather they were acquaintances or friends. But anyway, it was well into the dark of night when they both walked out of the forest hand in hand. So I guess they were now closer friends from the recounting that we have. Okay, and with just 2 steps out of the forest, they looked at each other and jumped back. They simultaneously realized they knew each other from a drawing they drew as a child.
Oh, they must not have known each other.
And could never forget. Well, they could have known each other, but they didn't remember that whole time about something from years ago. I mean, I had memories from my youth that I didn't remember until decades later.
Yeah, well, you and I knew each other, but it wasn't until we saw each... Well, I knew you, but when you saw me in person, you were like, holy shit, you're that... Yeah.
Yeah, you said the S word. You give me such a hard time about keeping it clean. I score 1 for Paul.
You know what? You could just beep over me.
Okay. So anyway, the fear left both of them. They reported they barely noticed the lost time and instead talked until morning. To this day, they are still obsessed with each other and have married.
Wow, what's the other story?
Okay, that's the end of the first story. Now the second story. You
can say it.
Okay. Next, an amateur photographer stumbled to his car white as a ghost. He could barely hold his equipment. He was breathing fast and heavy because he ran all the way to his car. He was in the forest when he saw something that appeared to be a very tall person looking out from behind a tree. He took out his digital camera to take a photo, but when he did, he heard a voice in his head that told him not to do it. He fought the thought and took the photo anyway. When he did, his camera, take note, his very expensive digital camera, got extremely hot, and if it wasn't on a neck strap, it would have fallen to the ground out of his hands. Instead, it hit the camera bag. He was terrified and ran back to his car, and later at his hotel room, he found his camera ruined, and the SIM card inside that once held hundreds of photos of his family vacation was erased with the exception of one picture. It was a photo of a black background with a bright yellow light. The bent tree he was looking at when he saw the figure in the forest was there in front of the light. If you looked, there was a very faint shadow in the light, not quite there, but visible enough. Now, such stories, they share a common texture or feeling. Some say it's uncanny the way ordinary events slip sideways into the seemingly unexplainable. An afternoon out becomes a mystery. A path becomes a portal. The human mind is built to find patterns. Just take a minute and think how many times we see faces in simple everyday things, what's called pareidolia. Some people could easily see things in the oddly shaped and often fog-covered growth of the Hoia-Baciu forest.
I see little faces in plugs, in American plugs, have the two little tops and the bottom grounding thing. They all go, ooh.
You're right. Yet, Hoia-Baciu resists being reduced to a single story. It is the sum of the small, stubborn moments. For instance, a bicyclist feeling watched, though no one is near. A ranger discovering a patch of trampled saplings that simply two people stood shoulder to shoulder where no one could have been. A camera capturing what looks like a doorway between trees that cannot be found on foot. The forest phenomena is a mosaic made of perception, oddities, paranormal experiences, UFOs, and what could be just regular, beautiful days in an amazing forest.
And you know what makes Hoia-Baciu different is not any single account, but the sheer number of them and the way that they relate to each other so similarly. Across decades, different voices of hikers, families, researchers, peoples from different lifestyles, different economic views, different countries, different societies, you name it, different everythings, all types and kinds of vocations, everything share the sense of this forest in places that are not ordinary, in ways that are not common to every other place in the world. It's like the twilight zone appears to be real within that forest. Even as the years go by, the forest keeps doing this. It keeps surprising people, even for those who don't believe. They go in there, and often many of them come out changed. They have and for those that go in there looking for the thrill of the haunting experience, oddly enough, even though many come out with it, some don't. It's the strangest thing. You know, I find that tales that thrill me and other listeners in an impacting way sometimes come from people who wander into that forest for work and are not expecting anything. You know, like the botanists who are categorizing the leaves.
Cataloging the leaves, yeah.
Yeah, those people. And maybe municipal workers who are out there checking traps to make sure that, you know, there aren't wild animals out there or I don't know, poisonous snakes or something. Or people who have jobs to clear out the leaves and make sure that after the winter that there aren't fallen trees on the hiking paths.
Right.
I mean, these people, when they give they say, oh my God, I saw something happen. Their accounts are pragmatic. They're not dramatic. These people are professionals. They weren't expecting anything there. Maybe they were there 100 times doing their job and they didn't see anything.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, you know, they come in and it's just the facts, ma'am. Here's what happened. Because they have to write a report. And when they describe something, it's suddenly like this light landed between here or there in the trees. it couldn't be accounted for. So, in their language is clinical. It's like if a police officer was driving down, Route 93 and they saw something, they're not going to write down, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. It has to be critical. And so they document it in a way that maybe a visitor from California is not going to.
Right. So all in all, the Hoia-Baciu forest is a beautiful, mystical place filled with forest lore. People come hoping to test the edges of fear and belief, and others come seeking comfort, quiet, and maybe even small and secure under the massive tangled roots.
Yeah, they want to feel that way.
Yeah. Of course, these days you're sure to see modern pilgrimages threading the paths, photographers with tripods at dawn, tourists claiming a selfie among twisted trunks, and those who go in at night with a flashlight and a camera determined to wait for a paranormal thrill.
Ooh,
if you decide to
that
go...
would be me.
That would be me. If you decide to go, walk slowly, notice the color of the leaves, the tree bark's texture, how the light fattens and thins. Bring a friend and keep your phone charged. The device may fail and you will want something to call from if you become undeniably, frighteningly lost.
Ooh, that would be me too.
Yeah. Or you find yourself long time and away from where you were.
That would also be me.
That would be us, yes. Take a piece of paper and a pencil. There are reports of photos that lie and memories that blur, but drawings sometimes preserve what cameras refuse to. And remember a small courtesy. The forest is a living place. Respect it. Whatever you bring in, bring it out with you.
That's a good point, And if more people did that, maybe there'd be bigger tours. The Hoia-Baciu, is that how you say it?
Baciu.
Baciu.
Hoia-Baciu.
Hoia-Baciu may not promise to give you exactly the proof it offers, instead of just a feeling. You never know. But it may give you a shiver, a pause in your everyday awareness. It may make the world feel suddenly porous, that hollowness that is in your center, a place where light, story, and science meet and don't quite reconcile with itself. It's what keeps people returning to it, that forest that is not quite what it should be, not quite right. Things don't reconcile there. It keeps its record not on paper, but on the slow...
accrual of experience, you could say, yeah?
Yeah, that part of you that it keeps its record on people's souls, I think it.
Mm-hmm.
On the way that it knots inside of you. In that hush that falls at sunset, it remembers perhaps because we remember it back. When you leave, you may find the city's hum is somehow different, maybe brighter. You may even discover that you no longer have a watch that keeps proper time, or you may not have photographs of what you actually took photos of. They may have long smears of light, or your eyes may not quite look like your eyes, and you won't be able to explain it. You may have nothing at all on the photos you took. It would be really, really weird, huh? Or shadows in the background. You look at your photos and you say, oh, isn't that a pretty photo of my wife or my husband or my children? Wait a minute, what's that in the background?
Sorry? I'm sorry, I thought you finished your sentence. Go
No,
ahead.
no, I said, what's that in the background? You went, sorry?
Excuse me.
What is that in the background?
Just lost, minding my own business. So anyway, in closing, Hoia-Baciu waits. Like all persistent places, patient as a stone and tide, it does not demand to be believed. It only invites the brave, the curious, and the lonely to come and stand under its trees and listen to the creak of branches, the hush of leaves, and the small human voice that says, there is more.
There is more.
There is
So
more.
if you guys ever want to go there, or if you've been there, tell us more. We'd love to have actual pictures too.
Yeah. Send your link to your pictures online. Send your pictures here if you want.
Yeah,
Whatever
that'd be great.
That would be awesome.
If you've been there, send us a story.
Yes.
We'd love to tell people all about your story.
Yeah, send us a story. You can send your story to, and this is all one word, this is the whole email address, send it to spookycoop@gmail.com.
Send it to spookycoop
@gmail.com.
at gmail.com. And
So, as always, listeners, we thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We had a lot of fun with this. There was a lot of wonderful allegory and different, attempts at new sort of flavors of the English language that we threw into this.
as always, my brain injury came out in beautiful color.
It's a splendid kaleidoscope of love, my dear. So everybody, be good, be safe.
And remember, don't fight with pavement. Pavement always wins.
Just never fall with your head on the pavement. So until next time, till we see you again in the Spooky Coop.